Welcome back everybody to another Age of Empires 2 casting the Pick Your Poison tournament run by Daniela, Comey, and some other great folks. Check out the link in the title for more information on that. Great people running an event for the community. Today we are looking at another matchup from bracket J, which is the bracket that I myself am also participating in. I streamed my first round matchup earlier today. If you're curious how that went, check out my VOD or just wait until I upload it to YouTube tomorrow. This is the first round matchup between the first and the 16th seed of our bracket. So the most mismatched matchup in terms of elo in theory. 3 cores versus IronSky 2K87. Or whoever this fella's name is supposed to, however that fella's name is supposed to be pronounced, that is not entirely clear to me. Anyways, let's check out the draft really quick first before we go into the game. First map is going to be Golden Swamp. On that map, we're going to see Berbers versus Sicilians. Map number 2 seems to be Arena. I think the Civ matchup for that is Gujaras versus Tatars. And if necessary, match 3 will be played on Nomad with Portuguese and Poles being the civs for that one. So you can see which civs were picked and which were sniped. Interestingly, a Korean snipe is pretty interesting to me. Didn't think they were being valued so highly lately, but of course this is a pretty low elo tournament. For reference, all these players are between 800 and 1050 elo, I would say. So at least all the players from the bracket number J, of course. The higher brackets, A through I, are filled with considerably better players, of course. So this is the matchup then. These are the civs and the maps. Therefore, I don't think there's anything left to say. We can just jump straight into the first game here. There we go. Good to see you again, everybody. And we'll check out how these two guys fare against each other. 3 cores the heavy favorite here, of course, even more favored than I was in my first matchup. And let's see if that'll lead to some embarrassment, maybe, to some upset potential, or if 3 cores can dominate this matchup here. He's playing as the Berbers, of course. Let's pull up the Civ Bony again, as has become tradition here. That's the Berbers right here. Okay, everybody. So for the Berbers, lots of interesting stuff there. I'll put on the desktop audio. I hope you can hear the game. Sounds fine. If you want it a little bit higher or lower, let me know. For the Berbers, I like the Civ a lot. It's a really nice Civ. You've got the quicker villagers, quicker moving villagers, and you've got also the discount on stable units, so on cavalry. The cool thing is really the ships also move faster, so that could be of some impact on this map right here, since of course lots of water involved, so that is always nice. Unique unit, the camel, archer, and the genitor, which is a mounted skirmisher, is also pretty cool. So a Civ that is generally a cavalry, fast villagers, fast ships. It's just about movement speed, which is a stat that I absolutely love. Yeah. So I think everybody's quite familiar with the Berbers usually, but if not, so you can check out the stats on the screen here for the last time, because now let's transition over and check out what we have on the other side here. Maybe a little bit of a more obscure civilization in the Sicilians or IronSky, and he's of course the underdog, so we'll see how he can integrate this Civ, how he can make this shit work. And I'm quite curious to see how this will turn out. We might see some sneaky dungeon fun here. I wonder how that can be made use of on this map. Of course, there are a lot of points on the map that you would like to ideally gain control over. So placing some dungeons over the middle or on the shoreline to secure your docks. All those are options that maybe could be cool and worthwhile. The better farms are of course nice. Extra stone start enable that dungeon play to really take off, I would say. And yeah, other than that, I mean, Nothing crazy stands out to me here. The transport ship bonus shouldn't be all that important, I don't think. Yeah, the First Crusade attack doesn't seem all that impactful here either. Good knights though, which maybe that can be of use for him. So, having checked out the civs, let's see how it actually plays out. IronSky is the heavy underdog, so I expect maybe some unconventional play here in order to make up for that elo gap between these two guys. Typically, when I'm the underdog, I like to mix things up a bit. He has not gone for any lames just yet, although it looks like both the rhinos have already been taken down here by 3 calls, so he's also been preventing that. That's a good idea. He's already scouting for maybe some super early dogs or anything of it. In any case, IronSky, if he's trying to get creative, I can't see it just yet. He's got 5 onward. His opponent only with 4, interestingly. And, well, no, he just had a villager wandering around a bit curiously. It's important to note, though, that despite the considerable elo gap between these two guys here, 3 course is by no means to be considered a pro player or anything like that, right? Despite him being nominally better than his opponent here in terms of elo, it is to be considered that he definitely is gonna have weaknesses, as all of us do in this tournament. So if IronSky maybe just has a good matchup into him, if he's just able to exploit those weaknesses, I could easily see this matchup going the other way, despite a huge seed difference. So do not be fooled by this gap at first glance. Yeah, we see pretty early feudal age here for 3 cores. He's going up on 18 villagers. IronSky apparently sticking around quite a bit longer here in the Dark Age. Let's check him out. He's yet producing another villager, maybe gonna go for that 20 will up, but it doesn't look like he's gonna have the food for that. He's floating a lot of wood. I wonder what he has been collecting so much wood for. He's gonna build the dock now, it appears. A little bit late, right? Why? Oh no, he's just luring. Yeah, if that is the case, I find myself disagreeing heavily with his choice of sending so many villages onto it. He's not gonna make use of it here, at least not anytime soon. He's getting some good scouting done, that is always nice. Maybe before the pace starts picking up. Let's check out how much everybody has scouted. He sees a decent amount. He sees the stone, he sees the gold, he sees the berries. He sees that there's no more boars around, I guess. On the other side, what has 3 cores been scouting? Oh, he hasn't found his opponent at all, actually. Which is significant, of course. He kind of knows at this point where he is, but maybe he misjudged the spawn a little bit, because he seems to be really looking a lot in the south here. But yeah, at this point he probably can deduce that IronSky would have to have spawned up to the north here. So the scouting advantage definitely on the side of IronSky at this point. I really am curious what his strategy is gonna look like here. He's going for a 23 villager up, so that is really late, right? He's not committed to docks or to fishing ships, so it's not like he invested resources into that. And he also isn't really going for fast castles. He might be. He's not mining gold yet, so that's what I'm saying there. Although he's going over to gold now. Maybe he's just trying a fast castle. His wall's a little bit curious, because typically if you want a wall, you start by walling the front. But instead he's going for a different approach. Good attempt. Oh no! You hate to see it. I was gonna say, good attempt with the garrison here, very attentive to try and take out the enemy scout. Instead just ends up taking out his own water buffalo. You hate to see it. Oh, that's such a tilter here. We've all been there, or at least in comparable situations. Poor guy takes out his own unit. Although the enemy scout is now idle. Oh, there's 2 scouts. I didn't even realize this, but we already have a few scouts coming out from 3 cores, so that's what he went for. And honestly, with the 18 villager up click from 3 cores, it has been quite late until he managed to even reach his opponent. Maybe the poor scouting early on, or the unfortunate scouting I should say, didn't permit him to go for any earlier scout attacks. IronSky in the meanwhile, well on the way to Castle Age, could click up within 1 minute if he so chose. Of course would need to drop the buildings for that to be possible, which he's currently not doing. Also idling a lot of villagers there in the back, so it's not all running smoothly for him as of now. He's dropped a second lumber camp, yes he has, and is now being attacked by those scouts over here, doing a good job with the house walls. Wants to take it easy here. I think the walls are a bit optimistic here. I was gonna say it's a bit of a wide gap here. It is traditionally not crazy to leave a bit of a gap between the walls and your town center, but this is a bit of a stretch, right? You can see he's getting punished in the scouts. Get into his wood eco. I don't like how this early game has transpired here for either player, truly. I thought 3 cores was a little bit late on his scout rush here. Only with 3 scouts, still ways away from Castle Age, and he's been able to inflict maximum damage though with those 3 scouts. Can't complain about that, although now he's taking some free damage, and oh, that is completely unnecessary. He must be distracted by something, but no, he just loses the 3 scouts. Man, definitely a rough early game for both parties at this point. So far, it is a bit of a struggle, although 3 cores on the way to Castle Age pretty soon. He's just missing like 80 gold and another building. IronSky seems a bit paralyzed here. Oh, well, I shouldn't say that. Maybe he's just sticking to the plan. Now drops the barracks. I don't know. And we get the archery range. Oh no, it's a blacksmith in the back, my bad. Now the market too. Okay, it is a little bit slow, but he's gonna go up to castle soon. However, looks like 3 cores is going to be getting there first. And that is absolutely wild, considering how early he went up to feudal age. IronSky not really with the most obvious plan here with his strategy. I wonder what the idea was. Maybe got thrown off a little bit by the scouts here. Castle Age is in for 3 cores, and IronSky probably going to click up as soon as the market goes up. I wouldn't make that next villager. I really want to get up to Castle Age as quickly as possible. Just take that idle time to the chin, on the chin, but no. He's getting that 1 more villager and then he's going to be clicking up. Although, yeah, there he goes. Alright. He is 40 seconds-ish late, and he doesn't really get anything for that. So far it's going all good for our favorite here. 3 cores in a decent spot, I would say. He is the Burbus, and he's going to get to Castle Age where the stable discount starts kicking in. And he's got a pretty decent base for himself. The walls are looking fine and safe. No issues with them. well, I don't know. I was gonna say, not really necessary to wall that excessively when you are the one up to feudal first and getting the pressure onto your opponent. But since he didn't expect, or rather invest a lot of it into his military, he is a bit vulnerable. So if the opponent went for a really fast castle, which was to be expected, to be honest, after that quite extended Dark Age, then maybe you need some defenses when the knights or whatever starts coming in. Therefore, I get the decision to maybe just play it safe and make sure you got the walls when you need them. Castle Age in first for him now. That's gotta be a surprise to himself even. And he gets the horse armor upgrade already, which is very interesting. He's the one who's gonna have the knights out first. And let's see how IronSky is then looking to deal with that. He's going to the middle. Oh man. Oh, it's really hard. You are late to Castle Age. That is pretty risky. Double donjon in the middle. Double donjon. Let's see if this works out for him. I mean, if he gets spotted by these knights, this play is dead in the water. So, yeah, he could really be stopped in his tracks right there before he even gets to do anything. Let's see if 3 calls overreacts to the scout. I would like to see him just send the knights on over. Just go east at this point. There's no reason to just stick around any longer. Alright, he's getting those knights. Looks like he's... Yeah, just go east. Please, don't go towards the scout. Nice. Good idea there. So the first dungeon starts going up. Alright, I mean, he seems to be getting some control over the middle. I just really wonder what he's going to do once military reaches him. He doesn't know so far what the enemy has, and he is himself going for some archers, actually. That is interesting to me. Bot can arrow in now. That's the only attacks that he has right now. The only military attacks are the 2 attack upgrades for the archers. And again, the response is just slow. However, it is just in time. The stone walls go up. However, that can't be enough, right? That can't be your whole response, since that is 6 knights knocking at your door. 7 knights even, with the one, apparently another one coming from home. Oh, this is tricky, right? Because he can just get in wherever he wants. There's palisade walls everywhere, and there's even a hole in here. I have to say, this is a little bit lazy. You have seen those knights. You gotta start preparing your response, because they're just going to get in anyways at this rate. And you can't deal with knights in your base right now. You haven't even attacked halberdiers. You don't have any spearmen in the field. So IronSky, a little bit too slow with the responses here for my liking. He has secured the middle, but the villagers idle again. He's put up a dock, but he's now getting hit at home. Oh, he could get in. Oh, luckily for IronSky, 3 calls wasn't paying the most attention possible. He's still going to get in, it looks like. Come on. It's open, isn't it? Isn't it open? It is. Alright, there he gets in. You have to be quick on your feet there. Once the knights start knocking on your door, I have to criticize that. Oh, the stone was on the front to prevent, but it was just too late a response, and now he's got to be on the run at home everywhere. He's getting squires. Wonder what he's going to go for with that. All those idle villagers now. Sadly, no picks there for a 3 course, but he's still holding on to the knights, of course, and meanwhile at home, nothing is bothering him at all. He's got the 2 TC boom, even the castle. He is expecting something, right? Because his opponent hasn't sent anything towards him, and therefore I can see why 3 course is a little bit cautious. If he had the bird's eye view as we do, he might be much more comfortable dropping that castle in the middle or somewhere else. He is getting some great picks there on the villagers now at the mining camp. At this point it is pretty much irrecoverable damage, I would say. You've got the 20 eco advantage. 3 calls has punished heavily both times here, getting in with the scouts initially and then with the 6 knights now idling the economy almost permanently. We are seeing a few spearmen come out for IronSky. He's going to need to collect some more wood for the halberdier, or for the pikeman upgrade rather. He's got to mark it up. He's got 1,000 gold floating. Maybe he could buy himself some wood just to get the pike upgrade. I think that would really serve him well now, but it is already too late, frankly. This doesn't look recoverable anymore, and you can see the desperation here sending out the villagers. He is afraid to use the market, and that is a mistake that has cost him here, because he could have had a lot more spearmen or pikes in the field quite some time ago. Overall, the theme of this game just has been a little bit too slow responses from the Sicilian player. Whereas 3 course, I was a little bit confused by the opening. I thought 3 scouts, maybe he stopped scout production after he saw that the opponent had been walling, but after that maybe could have gotten up to castle a little bit quicker. Either way, he's done massive damage with what he has been working with. Now takes the trade into the pikemen. Bit of a rough one. That isn't exactly not exactly ideal. Looking to get another villager pick before he dies. Doesn't look like he's gonna get it. So at least IronSky has managed to clean this one up. Now he's gonna have to see how he can recover from this. I mean, he's only got the 1 TC, but he also has a dock. Fishing ships have been producing. He's really investing a lot into fishing ships. There is some temporary food income, but it could help sustain him here for a while. Still, the 30 eco differential here is massive. We have town centers working around the clock for 3 cores, and he's already on the way to imp. This does not look like a likely upset game here for our underdog, who's gonna pick up that one more knight. That is sharpening his sword on the stone walls. Wow, even gets a pick on another pikeman, and is now going to have to find an answer to the camel archers. I just love Burbus. They're such a nice save. Lots of fast-moving units and villagers. Now gonna have to be careful not to take too much free damage here. However, he already has the Botkin arrow, so that is quite potent an army here. Could start picking off some fishing ships. I wonder why he's not really committing forward. He has now shown that is not a good play, in my opinion. If you show your army, you have to actually make some use of it. Especially since you know your opponent is heavily into pikemen, meaning he doesn't have anything to do with your camel archers. Look at the movement speed, 1.4 movement speed on the camel archers. Pikemen over here, 1.1. So you can easily outrun them, hit and run the pikemen down. Gonna go for a castle drop here. Wants to just guard the castle while it goes up. Again, he is pushing his advantage a little bit slowly for my liking, but he's totally controlling this game. And even putting up another town center, knowing he's going to be first to the Imperial Age, almost 1,000 score lead at this point. So I'm not going to criticize him too heavily here. 9 fishing ships for his opponent that could easily be taken out, and the eco gap is already almost 30. With that, you see the upgrades coming in the Kaspa and the ballistics. Let's see if IronSky has any responses. This donjon is not going to go up. Bit of a late realization, at least deletes it, gets his res back. 3 cores on the contrary is very much making use of the market. I like to see it. It's getting the upgrade, even the Maghrebi camel, so that is kind of like the berserk tech for the camels, right? Although the berserk tech isn't actually a tech anymore. Basically, it just makes them regenerate health passively, which is nice, because once that tech comes in, it's going to regenerate up after that dungeon fire that he tanked earlier. First dungeon going down, and at this point it's gotta feel pretty pointless if you're IronSky, right? He's getting some monastery attacks. That is surprising. Is that the answer to the camel archers? Is it just monks? I'm not entirely sure. Oh, those camels, they take pretty significant damage from these dungeons. Maybe that's what Botkin arrow was researched for. Don't think it's going to help him actually defend this push, though. The first traps are already out. At least IronSky has a lot of resources floating. He could go up to Castle Age or to Imp, and that's exactly what he does. Doesn't have a castle yet, though. He's almost got the resources for it, but he's lost entire control over the middle. He can't even produce any traps just yet, and he doesn't have the army in the field. That's why I'm so pessimistic about this whole thing. Alright, I was gonna say some hit and run is necessary in order to conserve the army. You don't want to trade your pricey camel archers for the enemy's trash units there. But did a decent job there in the end. Town center being dropped in the middle is fine as well, of course. I wonder if this is just 3 cores being like extra careful because this is a tournament game and he wants to absolutely make sure he stays in the lead. At some point you need to stop building up a lead, an eco lead especially, and just convert it into damage though. And he's already got 100 villages. He doesn't need more villages. He doesn't need this town center. He doesn't need to even take any gold in the middle. If he just marched forward his army at this point, he could absolutely roll, and I think he should be aware of that. because he hasn't seen a single indication that his opponent had any skirmishes or anything, and he's got almost twice the opponent's score. He's got the traps and the camouflage assist well enough in order to push the opponent down. He's still going to consolidate his position though and build up a little bit more. I mean, now even taking out that dog is okay. I'm just saying this could be played and punished a little bit faster. Overall, it is not going to make a difference though with this eco, with the laughable eco differential and the army in the field. There's no way back from this one for the Sicilians as far as I see it. Castle being dropped now for IronSky. At least going to buy him some time. He's not even able to queue any traps though, which in all fairness wouldn't even do a lot for him in this position anyways. He needs any units to take out those traps and those camel archers, and he's got neither at this point. He has no army in the field. He's now making some skirmishes, so I can respect that. He's getting bracer. He's going to need the archer armor though as well if he wants to actually have those skirmishes be efficient. A little bit low on wood here. I don't know if we need the 20 on food anymore. It's just his 20 farms, I guess, but I think switching some onto food could be nice, since I don't think his army composition is going to be very heavy on food. I wonder what he's going to try to do against the traps, though. Does he have anything? I mean, he can't go traps against traps at this point. It looks like he's just going to drop this castle and let this castle buy some time for him. But this time it's not going to suffice. Still, the market use wood being bought here by 3 cores. I wonder what he needs 1,000 wood for. He's buying yet more wood. It's interesting. I wonder why do we have 1,000 wood? Is there anything that Oh, he's just queuing up 1,000,000 rams. I see. Okay. Yeah, I wonder. Maybe he's just having some fun at this point. I can definitely relate to that. Capped ram here in production. And the castle on the opponent's face is one way to close it out. I don't think it is necessary again. At this point, he could just roll all over him. But he has been taking this extra safe. Maybe 3 cores is, of course, the #1 player in this bracket. Maybe in case I face him in the finals, there's something to take note of, that this guy takes it a little bit slower, takes it a bit safer, and maybe that can be punished in some ways. Either way, the town center has already gone down. We've got the castle being dropped here, right where the opponent's castle was taken out. And I wonder how much longer IronSky is going to stay in this one. Typically, pro players like to drag out the first game of the series a little bit longer sometimes, just to use it as a feel-out game, warm yourself up a little bit for the series. Also make the opponent sweat, because they still have to make sure they don't throw the game, while you already are kind of mentally thinking about the next one and just getting your hands warmed up a bit. This is a bit unfortunate here. This monk, I don't think is going to make it very far. Maybe he's going to use the I was going to say the shadow of the castle where no murder holes are in. But after the monk goes down, there's no more point for IronSky, and he gives it up to 3 cores, who takes the series lead 1-0. Nothing crazy here. So far, it's what it was to be expected of the favorite here. Even the town center in the top here for IronSky couldn't save him anymore. Don't think the stats here are very interesting. Nothing stands out to me, to be honest. Yeah, even the peak villagers. Look at the peak villager gap between these 2 guys. It was definitely 3 cores running away with this one. So let's actually maybe head back over to the draft, look at the civs once again at the maps, while I load up the next replay. We just watched Berbers versus Sicilians, so the next one is going to be Tatars versus Gujaras. And it is going to be on Arena, which has to be IronSky's home map in that case, I guess. Alright, let's get into that one. So we've got Tatars versus Gujaras. Of course, I'm going to pull up the civ info for both these civs again once real quick here. And we're good to go, I guess. We can go head right into the second game of this series. I'm kind of pulling for IronSky here to make it a 3-gamer, to force a decider. But so far, there's no reason for me to believe that 3 cores couldn't close this one out. However, it is not to be underestimated what a home map can do for a player. Let's get on over here. There we go. Game 2 between 3 cores and IronSky. We are playing on Arena, so early game might be a little bit more dull. Interestingly, on this map, very slim backyard here for 3 cores, whereas IronSky seems to be a little bit bigger. Even the good spirits in chat, I like to see that. And maybe this is going to be the closing game of the series, so let's enjoy it while it lasts. And we can take a look again at the save information here to start things off. We've got 3 cores on the Tatars. He's the favorite. He's 1-0 up in the lead, comfortable position in this series for him so far. And he's on the Tatars, which is a civ that is, I guess, mainly known for the heal bonus. I don't know, that seems to be something that most players are aware of. If you're fighting from higher elevation than your opponent, you get the extra bonus with the Tatars. That is absolutely irrelevant on Arena, right? Because everything right here, as you can see, is flat land. There's 0 elevations on this map. Therefore, not really a bonus that you can make use of here. But of course, this civ is much more than just this bonus. It is a strong cavalry archer civ. It has stab lancers, which I also don't think are going to be absolute, well, a good idea here. Typically not that effective against Gujaras, and not on Arena, I don't think. So what are we expecting from them here? Well, they have their patented go-to cavalry archers, of course. You can see in the unique tags they get the silk armor affecting the cav archers. They also get the line of sight from their team bonus on their cav archers. And yeah, they get the free thumb ring and Parthian tactics. So decent cav archer civilization overall. And just a solid civ that also pros pick very frequently. Although I have noticed not always very early on in their drafts, but they seem to be doing quite well in tournaments regardless. Hoping to maybe see some flaming camels in this one, which is one of my favorite units. Although you rarely do end up seeing it. Only an imp is when it can come in, and I don't see a lot of applications for it. That being said, let's take the camera on over to the Gujaras here, to our underdog IronSky, who really needs this win. He's playing as the Gujaras, which are known for being able to garrison stuff in their mills. I hope he did that, I assume so. Yeah, we can see 7 units garrisoned up in there. Good job making use of that bonus. Has already collected the 2 bushes from the beginning. Is a well-known camel civilization, the Gujaras are, but they also have the very entertaining chakram throws. Maybe we can see some of those, although as it says here, it is typically best used against infantry masses, which, well, I don't expect from the Tatars in this game. Shrivamsha Rider could be of much more application here, which is a cavalry unit that tanks enemy arrow fire. Myself, as a renowned Mongols player, I have suffered against Shrivamsha quite a bit, so they could be of value too here. And you know, other than that, I mean, the extra melee armor on the Imperial Age unique technology shouldn't be all that important, because again, I expect the bulk of the enemy army to be from to be cavalry archers, maybe a lot of pikemen or halberdiers. I don't even know if Tatars get halberdiers. Let's check that out real quick, because the early game is a bit more quiet, so I can afford to look that up. We have halberdier available to the Tatars, so that is something. Maybe if you're fighting against halberdiers, it's a good tech to throw in there. But since halberdier so heavily profit from bonus damage, that also isn't the greatest impact here. The 4 melee armor, it's still gonna be a terrible matchup for your camels. So it might be a bit of a tough one. Halberdier, cav archers could give the Gojara some trouble here. Although I'm not an expert on either of these two civilizations, so I'll be curious to see how this one plays out. It looks as though IronSky is already considering clicking up to the next age, as we can remove these Sith Bony right now. I think we've all gathered that information. And we'll see, does he already look to go up to the next age? He does, has clicked up now. He's of course researched Loom just a second ago, which is a bit atypical on Arena early on. Has found the opponent's scout and gotten a hit or two in, however not that big of a dent was made. The Tatars still in feudal age. In terms of ILTC time, both of these guys, well, unusually high amount here for Arena, where typically nothing surprises you a whole lot early on, so maybe the nerves a bit. We are of course in a tournament, and people underestimate what a competitive setting can do to your abilities, even to abilities that typically run smoothly at the back of your mind. It truly is a different type of game when you're in a tournament setting, so I can understand some minor inconsistencies here. I've suffered of the same thing earlier today, where I wasn't able to perform 100%, I would say, up to my standards. Either way, back to this game. Nothing crazy so far. A little bit of an early up for the Kajaras. I wonder what the idea is. And again, just like last game, IronSky with unusually high numbers of wood. I wonder what the consideration there is. He is now up to feudal age, but is ways away from castle age, so it is his home map. Otherwise I would have suggested that maybe he's not all that familiar with Arena. He's now even housed. How is he housed? It's at 23 of 25. How was he housed? Well, I don't know. Whatever that was. It is curious to see how he's going to build that. He's going double stables. Maybe looking for some sort of feudal age all in here. Tons of scouts maybe, who knows? I mean, could try to damage the opponent that way. Would be interesting for sure. Not expecting that exactly. And yeah, the second stable rather comes down. Even dropping the houses on the wood line as though he was walling it in. Looks a bit funny, but of course he's just dropping them wherever he has his villagers. And the house line back here as well. It almost looks as though he's actually trying to wall off his base against something. But he surely has a plan in mind. I mean, this is his home map. I expect him to be well prepared. He's now spent a lot of that wood that he had gathered, so I guess it wasn't just completely planless. Now dropping the blacksmith as well and looking to get the market. Well, no, he doesn't even need a market. He already has the stable. So maybe looking to approach Castle Age after all. I'm still confused. Why are we dropping double stable if we are not immediately producing out of both of them? That is quite curious to me. He has the second Camel Scout out now. Maybe he just wants to secure the relics or something. He's so far away from Castle Age that I wonder what the idea is here. We are playing Arena after all. I hope he's aware of that. Castle Age already in for the Chitars, of course. Pretty standard fast castle here. He's already onto stone. He might just drop a forward castle, but might also just go for expansion here with 2 or 3 TCs. Sheep that he might have forgotten in the corner there. Hope that didn't hurt him too much, but apparently, judging by the fact that he's already almost up to castle, he should have gone all fine for him. 3 cores looking very solid so far. Hasn't invested into army yet at all. has walled off his backyard, which is very curious. I mean, he might just delete that wall at some point, but I mean, was there no other place to drop those buildings? That is a screenshotable moment if I've ever seen one. Pretty memey. Camel Scout production starts picking up here, but with only 8 on food, there's absolutely no reason to drop 2 stables. I'm very confused as to what IronSky's plan was right here, and he's even idling his TC for further time here. You can already see one more minute of idle time rather than his opponent, who's already in Castle Age. 3 wheelers just behind, but up to Castle Age. He's looking good. He's now going forward for the castle. I wouldn't expect him to drop it on the opponent though. I mean, maybe just drop it outside your door to protect your gold or something. He's now spotted the enemy Camel Scout, and speaking of that Camel Scout, your villagers have now been spotted. So it isn't all smooth there for 3 cores. He was apparently trying to drop this castle a little bit more forward. We've got 1 Camel Scout on each of the relics, but now we get the more defensive castle on the gold. If he can actually get that up, we'll have to see if that actually is going to come through. It looks like... Oops. Yeah, let's see. Oh no, he can't see it. He just barely can't see it. That is sloppy. You saw the enemy villagers come out, right? So should look around to see where the castle potentially goes up. Either way, that one is going to go up for 3 cores. It is a defensive one, but he's in a fine spot. I'm sure he knows the opponent is playing a very extended feudal age without actually doing much in it. But dropping more buildings, double archery range. What are we doing here? That is so confusing to me. We need Castle Age before being able to do anything, and the opponent is in Castle Age already. It's all fair and good if you're controlling the relics and denying your opponent from picking them up, but if we want to get them at any point, we're gonna need to reach Castle Age. It's very clear that IronSky went into this game with a certain plan. I just cannot put my finger on what that plan exactly was. It's now lost track of that first relic. Of course, after the castle went down, it wasn't really feasible to contest for that one anymore. And that's +1 relics for 3 cores with minimal investment. Sure would have loved to drop that castle a little bit more forward, but even without having done that, or having been able to do that, he's at least protecting his home gold, and the opponent has not yet dropped any pressure on him. Surprisingly, no second town center yet for 3 cores, who has been in Castle Age for quite a while. He just doesn't have the stone with only 2 villages on it. It takes quite a while. That is sloppy though. He's lucky to get that conversion on an enemy scout. Able to pick up that relic now as well, although the next Camel Scout is looking to go on over there and contest, but now with that one being gone very sneakily, 3 cores swoops in and picks up that relic. Although he's likely to lose that monk at the top, at least he was able to bring the relic far closer to home. And yeah, he's gotten another one from the middle here. So really, this is some head-scratching arena strategy from our friend IronSky. Of course, the lowest rated player in this tournament, so he's definitely coming in here with minimal expectations on him. So anything that he does here really is admirable. We'll see if he's got anything up his sleeve here that could change the outcome of this one. He's going to lose this scout as well. This cannot possibly result in a kill. And there we go, the monk survives, and that's going to be all the relics gone. Without IronSky actually having inflicted any damage. I mean, he's killed 1 monk and he's kind of delayed the castle a bit. Oh, wow, he doesn't even get that one. Now we see a lot of scouts coming out for IronSky. At least he's going to take out that 1 scout and probably the monk too. But let's face it, that is a little bit late. You've had those stables up for all this time, and now you're floating 2,000 resources before even clicking up to Castle Age. It's all but been a smooth build here. Only 2 relics left on the map, and I don't think he's going to be able to grab either of them at this rate, although it does look as though 3 cores might be content to just stick with the 3 or maybe 4 relics that he's already got. Might not actually be moving out for this one. He's now started to drop some more TCs, which is of course what I've been asking for a while now. And the fact that his opponent is still not in Castle Age has just got to feel so good for him. Because he's got those 3 TCs down before the opponent even hits Castle Age. And that is going to be absolutely brutal then. I don't think IronSky is going to be able to do a whole lot in the Castle Age, although he has a lot of production buildings down already. So if he goes for immediate military production spam, he's got no villages on stone, so he can't drop a castle or anything. But if he immediately goes heavily into military, maybe he's able to make some sort of a push. Step Riders now even coming out for 3 cores. I don't like that choice. I mean, 2 Step Riders against 5 Scouts is not a winning trade, and now you're losing potentially all your monks. This is absolutely ugly. Though at least he's using the Step Riders pretty efficiently. Good micro. Able to take out 2 enemy Scouts, which is kind of best case here. Third one dies to the castle fire, but that was sloppy. Losing 3 monks there, which is 300 gold. Luckily, with the 3 relics that he's already got in the monastery, he's able to recoup some of that gold. But that was not necessary here. And it's alright, IronSky getting something back. Something back in his favor, although already behind by 13 villagers. You hate to see it. He's dropping yet more production buildings. And 1 more town center on the wood line. Now putting some villages onto stone. I don't see any military production. I don't see any Castle Age upgrades coming in. Now the first one is being queued up. It's just a little bit too slow for my liking here. I don't think he's going to be able to do a whole lot. And 3 cores at this point, he's got to start freaking out a bit, right? Again, your opponent is so late to Castle Age, but he's not shown anything so far this entire game, pretty much. So he's trying to put up some defenses here, which I like, because he's in a winning position. And again, if you're slightly winning, I think it is more often than not the correct play to consolidate your position and win harder. Win harder until the point that you can push over the scales and actually win the game. And at that point, you should go all in. He missed that point in the last game, in my opinion. Could have gone all in way earlier, as far as I see it. But in this one, I like him taking it a bit slower, not investing a lot into military, just putting up more of a defensive house wall here again, having put up those 2 TCs. He's making sure that he's booming ahead in terms of villages. Opponent still on 2 TCs only, which admittedly he can't know, but he's kind of snuck through onto the backline here, but he's taking some bad trades here against the enemy camel and boar, or bear rather. 1 relic finally picked up, 2 relics picked up by IronSky. Could have been worse, I assume. So yeah, he gets at least 2 of those. We see another minor bonus of the Tatars, of course, with the 2 sheep here that each new town center is spawning. And beginning Castle Age. He's not starting to eat any of those just yet, though. And Imp is on the way for 3 cores with a lot of resources still available. He's got the stone for another castle. I wonder why those scouts entered in here. Maybe we're trying to kill those monks for any reason. What? Well, loses 1 of them and the other one is almost dead. 2. Meh. Alright. I'm not convinced yet. I'm gonna have to see what the plan is here, what units we're gonna go into. A lot of rest still banked up for IronSky. Is also going up to Imp right away, pretty much. So basically both of these guys have gone Imp before doing any significant military numbers, so I guess we can somewhat compare their builds. The difference is 3 cores has gotten to Imp with 13 villages more, with 2 castles more, and what is the overall resource collected? Can we see that over here? Maybe not. Oh, we can see it in the stats, can't we? Can we not? Stats? Yeah. Collected, yeah. Three cores even has 1200 more res collected already at this point. So again, he's kind of winning out all across the board, I would say. He's getting to Imp first with more stuff, with more TCs, better map position, much more map control. He's again going into Knights. I wonder why he's not just going for the Camel or for the Cavalry Archers. Or maybe he's going to start transitioning into that in a second. Maybe just because he has the cavalry upgrades already from his step lancers, wants to make a few knights, but really, yeah, he's actually leaning into the plate boarding armor for them now even. Ooh, the stone shaft mining is questionable. I don't think that is a worthwhile technology, especially on Arena most of the time. But a very defensive castle coming out for IronSky. Yeah, I wonder that is just not the general approach I would take against a better player. I wouldn't typically go for such defensive play without ever using aggression, because if we both just build, the better player is just going to win 10 times out of 10, I would almost say. So I don't like the approach, but again, maybe he knows his Civ better than I do, because I don't know a whole lot about both these Civs and about the matchup especially. So maybe getting to the late game fine, kind of even, is a winning position for the Gajaras. I just don't assume so. The Shramsha Riders are nice, but it's now 3 cores knocking on his door, and if I'm IronSky, I just don't have anything to defend with against that with. Enemy has a few knights, but I don't even know that, so I can't start making more monks, which at least he's gotten some technologies to upgrade those monks with. But I mean, having those monks in a little bit higher numbers would do something against the enemy knights. He just doesn't know how many knights there are. He's now getting the Shravamshas, probably expecting cavalry archers. Instead, Cavalier is going to come in for the Tatars. I like that switch up. It is unexpected, probably, since those knights were not yet shown to the opponent. Traps start taking out that gate, and it's going to be difficult for the Gajaras. It is pretty ballsy to go straight for knights into the Gajaras, where you're expecting camels maybe, but he's playing the mind games very well. Yeah, he's thinking, alright, my go-to unit is the Cav Archer, therefore the opponent is gonna make Shravamshas, therefore I'm going to make knights. And if that is his consideration, or his plan, it just 100% succeeded. As you can see, the Shravamshas swoop in, but the knights are there to defend, and they are going to be taking a great trade here. He's already got the iron casting, he's got plate barding armor in. His opponent has the same upgrade, but it's just superior units on the side of 3 cores. Cavalier's clean house here, and despite this castle going up, it's going to go down very soon. 2 castles up there, no trebuchets being made despite the resources being available, so I'd assume that is the go-to move, is to make trebuchets against the enemy trebuchets, but it is Tatar trebuchets as well. I think that was one of the bony, wasn't it? I just know all I know is the Flaming Caval, but yeah, trebuchets plus 2 range with the upgrade. That was the bonus. So difficult to trade against that if your traps even have less range, right? So now with the forward castle, again, I don't think he even needs to be this careful. I think just the Cavalier mass and the trebuchets can push this. But sure, why not put a castle in the opponent's face? Enemy castle has just gone down, and the Shravamshas are trying to go in to snipe the trebuchets. It is a terrible unit to face off against Cavaliers with, and we see that right here. They're absolutely getting cut to pieces. And so are IronSky's hopes in this game, in this series, and in this tournament. The last one of them dies. Wouldn't be that surprised to see a GG come in here. But of course, typically people play on for just a little bit longer in elimination games, where they know that the tournament's going to be over if they lose this. So we'll see if IronSky also is going to try for a bit longer here. Full melee cavalry from the Tatars. Very surprising, but then again, the response for the Gajaras. The thing is, they're in such a great spot. Both of their counter units, the Shravamshas against the archers, and the camels against the melee cav, both of them need the same type of upgrades. Both of them need the cavalry upgrades. So he's in such a great spot where he doesn't even have to do a tech switch in order to adapt, but he's just not adapting. He's continuing Shrivamsha production, despite the fact that his opponent has only been sending exclusively melee cavalry. Where are the camels? I can't comprehend that, really. IronSky a bit desperate here. He's trying to snipe those traps here with any means, with any possible tools, but at this point it's just absolutely futile. Look at this cavalry mass. It's like 25 cavalier, whatever that is. 30. Oh boy. Trebuchets. They're now starting to chip away at the enemy castle, but it is just 2 trebuchets against 2 and 2 more coming in. You're not going to be winning that trap war, and he's even retreating with that 1 trap, knowing he can't defend them, even the enemy light cav. Just proving too tough to deal with here. And as the villagers start going down, maybe this is the point where IronSky throws in the towel. Wouldn't be surprised here. Let's see. Loses the castle as well, and he's just got nothing left at all, and calls the game right here. That was a quick series, and I haven't seen such a domination from a favorite in the tournament so far yet, although I also don't think we've seen any crazy upsets so far. Was well played by 3 cores, but I don't think this was super scary. Like, if I'm the 2nd seed in this bracket, which coincidentally I am, and I were to face him in the finals, which coincidentally I might be, but I'm not that confident in that. If I were to face this guy, I'm not shaking in my boots right now, right? Because he's taken it very slow. He's played very safe. It was an intelligent mind game here in the end to go for the melee cav, full commit onto that, and it worked out for him in his favor. But yeah, all I'm saying is I'm not all that worried here, not necessarily. He's played very well though. Maybe he was an Arabia player and got his main map banned. That could be a possibility, and so we've not really seen the best of him potentially. Either way, I respect the gameplay. He's absolutely controlled the series, was at no point in danger of losing it, and yeah, so far so good for him. Congrats on winning that game. And that's serious. He moves on to the next round of the tournament. And I'm going to be casting another series of Group J here in a second. I'm just going to click end stream here to create a new VOD for the next series, but I'm going to continue the stream with another series cast from Group J. Thanks for joining me, and another shout out to Daniela and Komi for hosting the event.